Hello, and thank you for joining in. My name is Zainal Abraham Kumar, and my presentation is on Ivan Petrovich Pavlov. For first 10 years, he pursued an interest in digestive system experimenting on animals. After an observation of patient's digestive system, he prepared a gastric fistula to experiment on dogs to determine how shooting of secretion through fistula varied as a function. During his work, he discovers the conditioned reflex. Pavlov observed that when a dog is presented with food, he salivates. When an unconditioned stimuli is that food is present, it emits an unconditional response, such as salivation. Pavlov conducted an experiment to see if the dog can learn to a neutral stimuli tone to elicit a response. Thus, if the response is elicited, it would become a conditioned response. He then pairs the unconditioned stimuli with neutral stimuli, and the dog emits unconditioned response. Pavlov applies the laws of contiguity and frequency. The use of these laws were to have the dog to associate the neutral stimuli with unconditional stimuli. Pavlov removes the unconditional stimuli and only uses neutral stimuli. The use of only neutral stimuli to elicit a desired response after the application of contiguity and frequency, it becomes conditioned stimuli. Therefore, a conditioned stimuli elicits a conditioned response in a perfect world. Pavlov contributed to the study of behaviorism through his work of conditioned reflex and related it to the brain function. Influenced by Sechenov, Pavlov believed that all central nervous system activity can be characterized as either excitation or inhibition. Patterns of excitation or inhibition that characterizes the brain at any given moment is called cortical mosaic. Both men believe that all behaviors are reflexive, that is caused by an antecedent. Depending on the interaction, an organism can either exhibit extinction, spontaneous recovery, and disinhibition. Experimental neurosis is a lab where Pavlov tested an animal of its deterioration of behavior. He concludes that when an animal is unable to distinguish unconditional stimuli from conditional stimuli, the excitatory and the inhibitory tendencies will conflict, resulting in breakdown of the animal's behavior. Pavlov speculated much human abnormal behavior was caused by a breakdown of inhibitory process in the brain. He adds, how an organism responds to conflict is determined by the type of the nervous system they possess. And with innate ability, an organism will engage in appropriate behavior where the adaptive significance of such signals should be obvious. Pavlov describes two types of signals, first signal system and second signal system. Seeing fire and withdrawing from it would exemplify the first signal system, but escaping in response to hearing the word fire exemplifies second signal system. For my citation, I used Hergenberg's An Introduction to the History of Psychology by Henley T.